Well, I know a man who might have a view about Big Ben's bongs and what's happening today. Chuka Umunna, the Labour MP, joins us now from our central London studio. Will you be going to this vigil, Chuka Umunna?
Look, I understand people's worries about this, but to be frank, I think we have much bigger challenges facing us as a country, so I will not be there. I'll be focusing on other more important matters. But no disrespect to any of the colleagues who are going down there. I totally understand their kind of reservations about what is happening, and it's an important institution, of course.
Yes, no disrespect
you're welcome
at all,
to come
because
down.
you're
Why don't you
busy.
come down, Sarah Jane?
Yeah.
You come down.
Well, you and I, Chuka, are going to be busy this afternoon poring over these 5 new papers that are being published by the government today. Further details about Brexit negotiating strategies, everything from regulation of goods to data protection. And I catch you on a day when there's quite a lot of Brexit good news around, it seems, Mr. Umunna. I'm looking at a report here by UK leading economists saying that Brexit could boost the UK economy by £135 billion.
Well, that, of course, is a report by a group of economists, the main one a professor who was a strong supporter of us leaving the European Union. That report has been widely discredited. I mean, just to put it in context for your viewers, what it is proposing is that the UK unilaterally removes all tariffs and duties on imports into this country without other countries reciprocating and removing tariffs and duties that apply to British goods being sold abroad. I mean, that would be a recipe for economic suicide, and it has been roundly condemned and discredited by other economists over the last 48 hours. But the big issues here, Sarah Jane, as we look at these position papers, one is the competence of the government to actually carry out this Brexit process. So far, we've seen sheer incompetence. Let's not forget, we're over a year on from the referendum. We're 5 months on from Article 50, which started this whole Brexit process. We're 5 months on from that being triggered. And only now, many months later, has the government come forward with its negotiating positions. And it doesn't seem, when you look at your reports over the last few weeks, that government is able to agree with itself, never mind reach an agreement with other EU countries. Okay. So you have had Liam Fox and Philip Hammond, the Trade Secretary and Chancellor, respectively, taking really quite different views publicly on how to manage this process. So there's a real competence issue. And secondly, I think there's a real issue here as to whether Brexit, in the terms that it was sold to the British public and your viewers, there's a real question as to whether it's possible, even if you had a competent government, to deliver the things that people were promised if we voted to leave the European Union.
Chuka, that report I put to you, you shot that down. I mean, that is predicting something that may happen in the future. There is no evidence to suggest that that might be right or it might be wrong. It is a prediction. However, when you look at some of the cold, hard facts of what have happened since the referendum, big names have committed to the future of the UK outside of the EU. I'm talking names like Tata Steel, Jaguar Land Rover, Ford, Google, IKEA, a whole host of names. And last month, the Department for International Trade said Britain attracted record numbers of foreign direct investment projects within the last year, creating or safeguarding 100,000 jobs. These are things that have happened since the referendum, and it creates a positive outlook for life outside the EU. You can't argue with those figures.
Well, I wouldn't argue for a negative outlook. I wouldn't want that, because it would be bad for my constituents. It would be bad for the businesses in my constituency that employ people.
But is it not a vote of confidence in the way the government are handling the Brexit negotiations at the moment?
I don't think so, and let's not forget that we haven't actually left the European Union yet. And you cited a list of positive data there, but you can also look at the fact that wages have fallen by 0.5% over the last few months.
Employment's at a record high.
Employment is at a record high, and there are a lot of vacancies in the economy, and that's a good thing. But the people who are in work are seeing their wages not keep up with inflation, and that means that your day-to-day existence is proving to be more expensive. And of course, part of what has pushed up inflation has been the depreciation of sterling. And of course, there are a number of other companies, you cited a few there, but there are other companies in other sectors in the economy which have chosen and announced that they are going to move thousands of roles to the European continent and choose not to base the centre of their European operations in the UK because we voted to leave the European Union. But as you said, Sarah Jane, what I won't disagree with is obviously, if you look at the referendum, that took place in the context of predictions and hypothetical scenarios. We are now seeing now, post the referendum, and now this process has started, facts emerge. And let's look at the things that people were promised. The basis on which people voted to leave, those who voted to leave, £350 million extra per week for our public services. They were told that they would not be poorer. They were told that we would be able to have trading arrangements which were similar to those that we have now once we've left the European Union. They were also told that there would no longer be preferential access in terms of coming to our country, immigration for other EU nationals. And what have we seen happen since? First of all, we're going to have to pay a big divorce bill and probably payments after that to continue accessing the single market. So there is not going to be that £350 million extra per week going to our public services. The EU Commission has said you won't get the same trading arrangements, and government seems to have accepted there will have to be some form of free movement between the UK and other EU countries for EU citizens, not least because our NHS and our economy need those people to come and help drive our economy.
I mean, Chuka, thank you very much. We have run out of time. I thought we were going to be talking there all the way until the papers were published this afternoon, but plenty to pore over later on. I look forward to talking to you once we've read these papers. But as I said, the proposal paper's coming out later today, ranging from regulation of goods to data protection. So much to pore through before we leave the EU. Chuka Umunna, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.